Hey Rifters, and welcome to an advanced guide on dimension tools. I'm FXX, and today we're going into default tools and we're going to be using the dome tool, and I'm going to be explaining how to use it and what advantages it can have on other things for you. If you want to read the written guide, go on riftdreamdimensions.com onto the dimension tool section, and the written guide will be there for the 20-sided dome. So what is the dome tool default set? Well, it's a guider tool that is able to aid you in making round domes that are 10, 20 or 40-sided domes, or this can be used to make other kind of shapes which I'll show you later on in the video. So let's get this off and away. So first of all, you need to do /DT to open dimension tools, go into load and save, and then go into default sets. In here you'll find the 40, 20 and 10-sided dome. We're going to be using the 20-sided dome for this. If you click on that, click print materials, it will tell you what materials are needed. You need 1 flesh decoration for redding rugs, 9 stone tiles, and a dimensional indicator. So these are all in my bags. The dimensional indicator is in my other bag, but if we then click load new items, it will take it from our bags, and as we can click load, it will now load up the indicator, and then here we go, all loaded, and it'll pick all of it up. So if we place it down on the ground, we can then use it so it's easier for us so we don't have to jump up. So as you can see, there are different lines all across it. Well, these lines here are the rugs, and this is the indicator for how it's going to go out. The difference between the 10, 40 and 20-sided dome is that the gap between the rugs are bigger or smaller depending on which one. So the 10-sided dome means the gap between these two rugs will be bigger, which means you use less items as you go around. The 40-sided dome tool will be much smaller, meaning that you have a lot more items to go around, which means it will be a more circular dome, and I will show you more about the 40-sided dome one later on in the video. Now that we've got it loaded up, we're going to be using the tool copy and paste to make it this 20-sided dome. So what we're going to need a tile. I'm going to use the limestone tile because it's white and easy to see. So we're going to click on the dimensional indicator and click copy, because this is at the very center of our indicator of our tool. We're then going to go put in -3 on the X offset, and we're also going to go on the roll of 90. This means it pushes it over this direction from the indicator, and it'll make it so that it was facing upwards at an angle of 90 degrees. So if we then click on paste on the tile, as we can see, the tile is facing upwards and it's moved away, so then we can move it around so it's not stuck inside the actual indicator itself. How this works now is you're going to be using going to the scale, and depending on how big you want your dome to be, so looking at the circles from the indicator, if I want it to be where the red line is and be that big of a circle, you go up to there. If you want it like up to there, or maybe as much as a 10-meter radius of a circle, we then go up to there. Well, I'm just going to go up to the 5-meter radius on the red. So once you've placed it, how big from the center and how big of a circle you want, you then go into the scale tool and you increase the tile until that the edges touch the rug, and once the edges touch the rug, you then leave it alone, and there we go. Now we want to copy this, and this will be the starting place for our dome. We then want to change the x-axis offset to nothing, and then put the y up to 1 so it goes upwards, so we can just move it around from there. And then we want to change the roll to 15, so then it comes out as slant, so then as you will see when we get to the very top, it will be near at an angle for the dome. So if you click copy, and as I don't have any items on the floor and they're all in my bag, I'm going to click use new item and click paste. Now that we've clicked paste, we see that we have a new item, and all we do is we move the item so that it aligns with the other tile, and there we go. Simple as that. We just move using the green and red one. So I'm not going to do it as neat, and then we do it again. Copy this one and paste, and it goes up and it keeps on curving up, and we do exactly the same. We move it using the green, the Y and the X and the red one till they touch and you're happy with it. So once they touch and they're happy with it, you then click copy again, paste, and you get the gist of it. So we just keep on doing this until we get to the very top, and here we are right at the top, and it's right at the edge of the center, represented by this flesh decoration pole. So now we have got this done. This will be basically the building blocks of your dome or any shape you want. If you wanted to create a different shape, you'll then create a different shape going from the center in any shape you kind of want, and then we'll then go on to the other part of the tool, which is now reflecting this on the opposite side. So how we do this is then we're going to say put a 6, or I don't know, let's go for 10 on the x-axis so that it moves it onto your opposite side, and then we're going to make sure the yaw is on 180, meaning that it gets flipped around by 180 degrees so it's completely the reflection. So copy paste this, and now we just want to move this till it's touching the wedding rug like before, and there we go. So we've started off with the building blocks. Now as you see, we just go to the next one above, copy, paste, and move it into place because it's going to be the same height as the other side. And just then again, for the rest of them, copy, paste, and copy, paste. This allows us, and this is the most fundamental part, that is all aligned with each other, so that when we come into the next section where we save it as a set and rotate it, that it will always be the same shape and dome. If it isn't the same shape and it's a bit outset, then when you start to rotate it, the middle of the rotation will be in a completely different spot and it won't work very well. So here we go, we now have the dome selected. So now that we have the exactly opposite, because we did the 180 degrees and just moved it on the X, so it's completely the same as we go up, which is if you did it in an opposite shape, we'll just do one shape on this side and then transfer it to the other side. Now that we have done this, we then select all the items on the dome, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and as we can see on the dimension tool it says we have 12 items selected. We then want to open load and save. We then want to save this as one half dome. Let's go for half dome and click save. Go into your save set, go to half dome, gonna click load new items from my bags. Make sure it's very important that you click load at original location so it spawns in exactly the same spot, and click load. As we do this, it places all the 12 items, and once it's done all the 12 items, it will select them all, which means now we can click rotate and then rotate this around as such so that the edges are touching each other, and there we go. If you really want to make this faster, you can then copy, select all the other ones again, and then save it as half dome 2, save. Now let's go to half dome 2, click load, and at the original location, click load, and this time instead of just loading 12 items, we've now loaded 24 items, which makes it faster for us to then select all the other parts of the dome and makes it easier. So now it's selected them all, turn it around, it's now made it much faster as we can do this. So now I'm just going to go and carry on doing the rest. And there we have it, the dome. Because I wasn't doing this fully accurate, this is a little gap inside, which means you could do an extra one, but still, this means, as we can see, we've got a very nice shaped dome using this tool, and we can create other shapes by doing it. So if you wanted to create another shape, we could, for example, instead of it just going dome-like, instead we could have made the center of it curved more in, and then pop back out again, just making sure that it only doesn't go across the middle line. And as we can see, and then do the copy and paste, and then it would, instead of it in a dome, it'd be more like an onion kind of shape kind of thing. So there we have it. This is what the tool is, and it's very simple to do a dome with this. So as an example of what you can do with this, over here we have a cup and we used planks. We've used a 40-sided dome one, which as you can see here, the gaps are smaller between the rugs, which means that when you then start to spin it around, you use a lot more items. But as we can see, we did a shape of going from the center downwards, then we're going from the center going upwards with the plank, and then upwards again at another angle. We then copied it to the opposite side and spun it all around, and as you can see, we get a nice cup shape. So as you can see, with this tool we can make many different kind of shapes, not just domes, but anything that you want. You can become imaginative, do whatever you want, but make sure that when you start using the 40-sided one compared to the 20 or the 10, you're going to be using a hell of a lot more items. As this is there, about 200 items. We're over there, the dome's about, I don't know, 100 maybe, for example, or even less than that. So make sure that you're going to, depending on how much items you have to spare, that you use the right tool and have fun with it. Be experimental. Try and make anything that you can, but use the same tools as we said over here. Make sure that you create what you want on this side. Don't touch it on the X, Z axis, or don't even touch that. Just change the Y and X axis and then just copy it on the opposite side, save it as a set and spin it around. Simple as that. So dimension is. That's it for the 20-sided dome. Make sure you go into riftdreamdimensions.com if you want the written guide on the dimension tools, and have fun with this and make whatever you want. See you later, Dimensioneers.